So it's almost like last video I said that I would stop collecting because I spent way too much. Yeah, as it turns out, I have no self-control. As I said in the last video, that is a true statement. I got more buy two, get one free games from GameStop today because the reason for that was that there were a lot of clearance items that essentially got moved over to pre-owned. And if you guys don't know already, all the clearance items at GameStop are new items, but somebody in one of the higher ups wanted some of the games to be moved over to pre-owned, and there was a lot of stuff that was moved over to pre-owned. So there were a lot of stuff that ended up becoming really, really cheap, and I figured since they were all right there, I might as well just pick them up because I've been wanting to expand the next-gen collection. I always like expanding the next-gen collection. The Series X and PS5 catalog I have aren't very big at the moment. I would just love to just move that while the console is still like really big. So I got a few games today, mainly Series X, but I did get a few PS5 games, a PS4 game, and a Switch game. And one of the really cool things about this whole haul too is that some of the pre-owned games were actually still sealed because nobody bought them because they were clearance at one point and nobody was even touching them. A lot of these games ended up being really cheap, and I figured, why the hell not? I think altogether for all the 12 games I got, I think I only paid like $80 or maybe 77 with the discount. So that's pretty much like, in New York State, like a full new game after tax, which is pretty insane, and I got to add a lot of stuff. Some of the stuff is crap, some of the stuff is, some pretty good stuff. So we're going to look at some of this. My camera keeps freezing for some reason, I'm not exactly sure why, but let's take a look. First up, we have probably maybe the worst game on the list. It's probably worse in here, but easily one of the worst multiplayer games that has launched this generation. The biggest letdown, I would say, because they took away the campaign for this one, and they were saying they were going strictly multiplayer, so it kind of had my hopes up for the multiplayer. I was debating whether to get this or Call of Duty Vanguard. I ended up getting Vanguard because I didn't really enjoy the beta for the one I'm about to show. The beta was okay. I figured maybe they'd fix it with some patches when the game officially came out. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. The game I got was Battlefield 2042, which I didn't own previously, and this was only $2. I picked it up because it was $2. There's no reason to own this game because it sucks. The multiplayer servers, you can almost never find a match. I only got it just to add it to the collection because I have the Steelbook without the game. I figured I'd just throw the game in the Steelbook, and then have the official case for it as well. Next up, we have Chorus, which I know nothing about, but I got this one for like $8, so I figured it was something that I've never heard of. I like just impulse buying things and kind of just jumping into it like blindly. I do love doing that with a lot of games, so just having this, I'm not sure if it's on Game Pass or not, but I at least have a physical version of it, and like I said, I only got it for like $8. It wasn't complete, but it at least had the disc in there, or maybe it is complete. I don't know if it ever came with a manual, but there's that one right there. We got Iron Harvest 1920, the complete edition. Another game that was like really, really cheap. It was either $8 or $15. I can't exactly remember what it was, but it's another Series X only game. I figured, like I said millions of times now, just want to expand on that next-gen collection. I figured I'd add it in there. The condition was nice. It was never owned. Despite being called pre-owned, nobody actually owned this copy of the game, so pretty cool. It's actually been sitting on my shelf for like months now. It was in the clearance section for like, yeah, just like a really long time. Right after that, we got Just Dance 2022. Never going to play this game. It's obvious why I got it. Like I said, next-gen collection. I could care less about the Just Dance games. I do know I had friends that like playing these, for like party games or whatever, but I care less about the Just Dance games. I never really got into them. Over here we got Observer, which actually caught my eye for a while because this game for some reason has always been cheap. No matter what time of the year it was, I always noticed that this was one of the cheaper Series X games, and I always kind of just held off because I didn't really know anything about it. But like I said before, I do like jumping blindly into games sometimes, so this might be something I kind of just plop in one day. I'm not exactly sure when I'm going to get to it because I have a lot in my backlog for the Series X, but it's something that I've seen for a while and kind of just thought maybe one of these days I would end up picking up. Like I said, disc is in there. Another really cheap one, which I think was $15 if I remember correctly, that would be Spellforce 3 Reforced, a Series X/Xbox One game, one that I know absolutely nothing about. Same thing for Tales of Iron. I know absolutely nothing about this one. It's technically listed as Xbox One, but it's got the thing up top that says Series X/Xbox One, and usually when they put Series X first, it's mainly a Series X game where it's got an Xbox One version. But GameStop can't ever make up their mind and decide like what version of the game these are. Like they can never make up their mind. I swear, Sonic Colors Ultimate was an Xbox One game, but they had it listed as Series X, so I honestly never understand them with that. They can't make up their mind with these categories. It's really funny, but I also kind of blame Microsoft for that because they made the naming system and just everything about the console very confusing. So that was all the Series X games. Let's move on to some of the PlayStation and Switch ones. All right, so I only got one Switch game on this clearance deal. This is actually one that one of my friends that comes in constantly buys. He just kind of tries to get whatever cheapest game that we have on the shelf. And this is one of the clearance ones that they had for a long time. They moved it to pre-owned. It became even cheaper. That one is Gas Guzzlers Extreme, which I'm surprised we didn't have a sealed copy of it. But since it was so cheap, I figured I'd pick it up. It's one of those games like I said, know absolutely nothing about. But my Switch collection is semi-tiny, so I figured I would kind of just start collecting for it more. Yeah, for some reason, I just really did not collect a lot of stuff for the Switch, despite it being one of my favorite consoles this generation. Even though in the past I said I was disappointed with it, some of the games in the past few years that have been coming out for it have actually made it kind of jump up the list, because I had it really low on my list when about like 3 years, 4 years into the system, but then 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, it's really like gone uphill. I agree, at least with. I definitely think that we need a successor, 100%, but yeah, no, this is the game catalog, is the sheer exclusive content has just been absolutely amazing. So, moving on from Switch, we got some PS5 and PS4 games. First one being the Dungeon of... I'm just going to say the Dungeon of N-word because I don't even know what to call that. I know that's a really dumb way of putting it, but the Dungeon of Nahil... I don't know how to pronounce that. Chicken Edition. Just another game. PS5. It was cheap. I picked it up. Monarch was a game that actually had a lot of people come at launch for, so I imagine it's got to be semi-good. I mean, it really might not be something for me, but it was cheap enough on the PS5 to where I figured I would just do it, so I just figured, you know what, let's just add it to the collection. As I'm going to say for the millionth time, I just wanted it for the next-gen collection. God, take a shot every single time I say that. So if you guys are drinkers, take a shot every single time I say that in this video. Very last two games. I got the same game for PS4 and PS5 because one was sealed and one wasn't. I got the out-of-the-box Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song for the PS5 so I can actually play the game. And then I got Vampire Masquerade the Swan Song for the PS4 just to have a sealed copy. This version technically has the PS5 upgrade, but I figured since they had an open copy and a sealed copy that I would buy one version for one console, one version for the other. Figured that'd be a good idea. This is one of those games that was advertised on one of our TVs at GameStop for a really long time, and it was not something I really was necessarily excited for because I didn't pick it up at launch, but the amount of like times I heard this commercial play, like the game is engraved in my head at this point. What's with it, and I never played a vampire game before, but who knows? Maybe this one will surprise me. I'm hoping it's as good as it was advertised on the GameStop TV, but chances are it probably wasn't. But you know, you never know. We'll 100% see. So easily going to be playing the PS5 version. I'm keeping the PS4 version sealed for obvious reasons. I'm a collector, so. I figured I'd make this pretty quick since I know pretty much nothing about most of the games I picked up in this haul. Like I said, it was all this stuff moved from clearance to pre-owned at my store. It got really cheap. There was a buy two get one free deal. Plus, I had my discount and you know how GameStop likes their sales numbers. I gave my coworker like 12 warranties on every single one of these because employees get them free, so that counts towards us. I figured I'd help him out while also helping myself out while just doing some nice things for the company, I guess. But that's everything here. Like I said, literally most of these games I know absolutely nothing about, but just some stuff to add to my next gen collection. Another shot you guys gotta take. Essentially, yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. There's gonna be more videos soon. Hope to see you all on the next one.